Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
I'm here to save the day. I'm here to save the day.
Soon I will be invincible. Because comics. Welcome to Because Comics. This is episode 10. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host, the debonair, Mike Christensen.
Ooh, I'm debonair now.
Yeah.
I wish I had a mustache.
No one could see this, but Mike just pantomimed curling a long mustache above his face.
I was trying to figure my pencil mustache.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't have it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You really should grow a pencil mustache.
No. It's 2014, Jay.
2014 pencil mustaches are out.
I do carry a rapier.
Just in case, you might get into some swashbuckling in the middle of the day.
Exactly. I have gloves just in case I ever need to pull one off and say, I challenge you to a duel, and just slap someone in the face with this.
When you walk into rooms, do you look for rogue ropes that you can jump and swing upon to drop chandeliers on people?
No, I don't go into rooms that don't have those.
You don't?
I don't know what that's like to not have that experience.
So when you're making a reservation at a hotel, you're like, ooh, wait, hold on. The lobby. How many ropes are we talking about hanging from the ceiling?
The lobby,
here?
Son, the laundry room. Every room.
Every room.
The ice machine better have a chandelier over it.
Prepping a room for you must be very difficult for most, B&Bs.
I don't travel a lot.
I'm going to be honest, Jay. I go to very few places.
Just live in the Chandelier Museum.
Right. Correcting our course back to the podcast about rapiers and swashbuckling.
Exactly.
Okay, so episode 10. So let's roll into what we do every episode, and every other week is the pull list.
Yeah, we talk about what comics we're reading and what you guys should be reading. And Jay, what should we be reading that you're reading?
All right. Well, I've actually tweeted about this, I think, a couple times, but I finally got to dive into Charles Soule's Swamp Thing, and it is so much fun. So, what do you know, Mike, of Swamp Thing?
I know that he's... the obvious answer is a swamp thing.
He is a man of the swamp.
Exactly.
He's a man of the swamp.
Yeah. No, he was I think a scientist who got... turned into this swampy monster.
Alec Holland, yeah.
And
then Alec
I
Holland. I
think
just read
Alec.
the comic, yeah. Alec.
Yeah, and then Alan Moore later, I think, revealed that no, that guy died. The Swamp Thing thinks it's Alec Holland.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting concept. Yeah, it's a plant that thinks it's a man.
Like this manifestation of the green, which is this...
Very close.
This, the force of nature.
Yeah.
But not a force of nature, but it's like the force from Star Wars, but it's just nature.
But it's
green
just nature.
Stuff. It's fauna.
And that is true, yes.
Flora.
He is actually the avatar of the green. So this whole series got rebooted in the new 52 with, I believe it was Scott Snyder actually rebooted it himself while he was doing Batman.
He was writing the
and he
series.
left, and I like Scott Snyder a lot. Arguably, I've talked a lot about his comics, I believe, already on the pull list with The Wake,
times, yeah.
And he's involved with Batman Eternal. But I wanted to try out Charles Soule's run because he's been doing it now for about 15 issues.
Wow.
He's been doing it, I think, since I think it starts on 19. Swamp Thing 19, and it's up to 34 now.
Oh, wow.
So he's been doing for quite a while.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my god, did I get that exactly? Did I say 15? I think I did. Wow, I got that right on the nose. But yeah, so he's been doing it for a little while now, and I think he expanded a little bit on what Scott Snyder was doing, and it's fantastic. So Swamp Thing, he's the avatar of the green. What that means is he literally is their champion.
Yeah.
And the green is, as you said, all things, plants, and life in that way around the world. And there's other avatars. There's Avatar of the Red, which is Animal Man.
Animal Man, right.
And you have I'm learning now, there's avatars of the Gray, which I don't really know what that is. There's Avatar of Metal even, and other things.
Magneto?
Many avatars. It's Magneto's the avatar. Maybe. I haven't gotten to it
waving
yet.
at them from the Marvel
I haven't
Universe.
caught him completely in the issues, but I just got through a new run where he kind of fights this new villain called Cedar, which is a really interesting concept because Cedar is basically a villain who's trying to be the new Swamp Thing. So the avatar of the green Swamp Thing's job is to keep balance, almost like Avatar from like Airbender or any other Avatar you might think of. But Cedar this character is going around and seems to have some powers like Swamp Thing, these powers he can tap into the green and like make things appear where they shouldn't be. But what's interesting about this though is he's doing it for what appear to be good. This character, this Cedar, is like kind of walking around with this big cane, and like he first shows up in a desert and creates an oasis for these people who are starving and running out of water. And it's very interesting because Swamp Thing in the very first issue of 19 has to show up and just completely destroy this oasis that's feeding these people, and because he's saying, look, this Cedar's like a kid. He's just pulling power out of something that he doesn't understand.
Right.
And, this might be good for you, and I understand you're sad that I'm taking away all this things that's basically keep you alive.
These life-giving nutrients.
Giving an oasis here kills like plankton off the coast here that kills thousands of fish and starves whole communities. So like, it's interesting to watch this character, this villain who ends up obviously going down a way negative path and almost tries to be the Avatar himself. He started off just trying to do good in the way that like a human like us would. Like, oh, well, I want to help these people. Let me grow a thing that'll feed you forever. And, but it all goes horribly wrong.
Sure.
So it's interesting to have a villain like that because Swamp Thing isn't like, I come in and I save just cause. Sometimes he has to side with the plants over the people, which is an interesting hero to have to follow.
His job description.
That's his job.
Yeah.
And it's an also cool hero to follow because he basically is just like almost like a walking god, because his body can get killed and he can just grow out of another plant. He's like killed, I think, in almost every comic. I think his body's exploded or destroyed in some way, and he just like at a certain point like just doesn't care anymore. But guys, check out Swamp Thing.
I know a lot of what we just said sounded super daunting.
And weird.
It's pretty straightforward, honestly. It's just like he's got this power. He's meant to protect. He's like a good Poison Ivy.
Basically. And you get it from the issue 19 when they start this new run. You get it right away.
Sure. Of
like within the first few panels, which kind of goes to a little bit who I hadn't mentioned yet. Charles Soule does the writing, but Jesus Saiz, Saiz, does the art, and occasionally there's some guest artists, but he's the primary, and he does a beautiful job with the pages. And the really cool thing, you guys, if you like some very interesting visuals, is because Swamp Thing kind of pulls on the environment around him, and like I said, his body's change wherever he goes. When he shows up in the desert, his body is like covered in almost like cactus-like, with like cactus flowers growing on him.
Oh, cool.
But when he shows up in the swamp, he has like more like swampy leaves and
moss
ferns.
And vines.
He goes to like Ireland and runs into Constantine in one, which is a really great little mini series.
Oh, cool.
And like there he has like kind of more like those pine trees and like old craggy like rocks and almost like very Scotland-esque flora and fauna on him. It's really cool how they do that with the art.
Not fauna.
Right. just the flora. That would be weird, like little animals just running around his back.
Just a horse.
Yeah. A tiny horse.
Like, why is there a sheep just standing on your chest?
What is this? So yeah, it does sound very daunting, but within the first issue, you get like, oh, this is his power set, and you're just really exploring the psychology of someone that has this much responsibility, and really being like a baby, like being brand new to being like, you're a god now, good luck, and keep us all in balance. And it's just like, okay, let's see.
Isn't that the movie Bruce Almighty?
I think that is the Bruce. You know what? Jim Carrey, Swamp Thing. Oof. All right.
Wow. But boy, do I not want to see that movie.
Yeah. Oh, man, that would be rough. Okay, so that was my pull. Swamp Thing, the Charles Soule run, starts issue 19. Please check it out.
Great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Mike, what is your pull list?
My pull list is on the Marvel side of things, Black Widow.
Ooh.
It's written by Nathan Edmondson and drawn by Phil Noto is the artist. It's very much... We've talked about this, I think, when we talked about She-Hulk, which is also Charles Soule, interestingly enough.
He's doing a lot of cool stuff right now.
He's really good. We talked about how a lot of Marvel comics, post-Hawkeye, started taking on the slice of life. This is just the weird everyday life of these characters.
This is what I do on a Tuesday
exactly,
or a Thursday.
Now, for She-Hulk, it's kind of different because she's always been... Well, not always, but for years has been a lawyer and a hero and all that jazz. Black Widow's been an Avenger for a really long time now, since the 70s at least.
Yeah.
And her miniseries tend to focus on her espionage role and being a spy and all that. This is an interesting series because it's still got kind of the Hawkeye approach. It's her in an apartment, and it's her like dealing with her neighbors.
What is in a Black Widow apartment? Is it?
There's not a lot there.
Really?
Because she
keeps it very bare bones.
Because she doesn't like to call anywhere home. She doesn't like to put down roots. She's got a cat that keeps coming around, and she's like, I'm not going to feed you. Like,
that's cool.
Like, because I don't want you to get, I don't want it to get attached to me. I'm never home. Like, I'm either avengering.
She's the anti-cat woman.
Exactly. But she's taking these jobs. She's being hired almost like a mercenary. She's got an agent who's like,
and she's still working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, this is like freelance.
Okay.
And she's got this agent who's getting her these jobs, and she spends just as much time investigating who's hiring her as she does actually doing these jobs.
So she like takes the job and then she's like, but I will also find out who you are.
Well, no, before she even takes the job, she's going to be very careful about who she's working for, because just as was addressed in the Avengers movie with Scarlett Johansson talking about how she's got red in her ledger, this is, I think they even dropped that line in the series, this is a character who's done so much terrible things to so many people, for so many terrible people. She's worked for all of the worst people that you can work for.
All of the bad ones.
Yeah,
Has she worked for?
I mean, like, just in a purely like, she's worked for the Russians in Marvel Universe during the time when they were the worst.
Yeah.
You know, she's done awful things. She's killed in lots of very creative ways.
Good for her.
She was there for the training of Winter Soldier, so she's kind of responsible in a lot of ways for everyone he killed. Like, she's got a lot to kind of undo. So she makes sure that she takes jobs that she knows.
She's on the straight and narrow.
Exactly. And when she finds out she's not, she gets real pissed. She gets real upset.
I can imagine.
There's also a really good issue. I don't remember offhand which issue it is, where she finds out that one of her neighbors is in an abusive relationship, and she just goes and she beats the stuffing out of that guy, and just she keeps telling the woman, like, you have to leave, you have to move out. And then finally that she's on this bad job, it goes really badly, she comes home and she just can't take it, she just tears him apart and turns to her and goes, you should still leave. Like, I've told you, she's like, if you ever touch her again, I will destroy you. You should still move out. Like,
does this guy know that she's Black Widow? Does he like, oh my god? Like,
no, it's just the redhead from the next door walk up, who just kicks down his door and takes him apart.
That's awesome.
She's a really interesting character, because she's not like Hawkeye, who's just this...
Who's just a bum.
Yeah, exactly.
He's literally like a lovable bum.
He really is. He does not have his stuff together.
Oh no.
Black Widow is so much. It's a very Burn Notice, but without the yogurt and fun, and without, like, there's no Sam Axe, Bruce Campbell. I guess the closest is the agent, who's always like, look, you could get all this money, and she's like, that's really not why I do it. Like, here's the money I want, here's the money you get, and here's all the money we're giving away. Like, it's most of it.
So she's almost like the Hawkeye who has his shit together.
Yeah,
or her shit together.
But because she has a lot more to atone for.
Right.
Because she's got so much, just the worst past.
Her red ledger is not mostly ex-girlfriends like Hawkeye.
Yeah, his red ledger's a little black book.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's a really great series. It's I think 10, 12 issues in, approximately.
Who's the artist?
Phil Noto. He's great. He's got this really cool, moody style. It's really well done. There are a few issues where she deals with S.H.I.E.L.D., but by and large, she's freelance, and she's in, like, South America in one issue.
That's
and
awesome.
It's really
so it's
great.
like a traveling one as well.
It's really, she goes all over, and
that's awesome.
It's really great. So definitely, guys, check out Black Widow. It's a really great take on that character who... here's the thing. She's like a lot of characters. She's had a lot of false starts. And I feel like in the post-Hawkeye world, it sort of started with Daredevil with Mark Waid, but Hawkeye is really the series that showed that these B-list characters, honestly, could support solo series if you just put the focus on the character in a really strong way.
If you take that note that's always just been kind of like a throw-off, like, oh, they used to do this, or whatever, just to give flavoring, and you're just like, no, that's what we're just going to talk about. And it's like,
talking about the fact that, every Black Widow story starts with her doing some one-off job. No, that's the series. We don't need to have some whole mini-series about her ballerina teacher who was a KGB agent or whatever the hell. Like, whatever. Like, we get it. She's been a spy since she could crawl. Basically, that's her origin. We've got it. What's that like?
Yeah.
Now that she is that. We've done all the flashbacks. We've met all of her crazy characters.
And that's an awesome playground to be in.
It really is, because it just puts her in the Marvel Universe. It's not super, like, Dr. Doomy, but it's there. It's like, just, this is the world. This is South America. This is,
so interesting how we're seeing that with comics now, of taking them just like, look, they don't have to every issue be fighting their ultimate villain every time. Like, right now we're just going to explore their character for a bit, and it's just like really cool to see comics going and exploring that kind of avenue.
It also provides another avenue for all those C-list heroes to kind of sneak back in, because you can't get
remember me?
You can't bring in Stiltman when you're doing only massive. Here's the thing, like with Batman, we're getting off topic, but with Scott Snyder, he just goes from event to event to event.
Batman is always saving the world.
He's got a couple fill-ins where he fights like Clayface. Yeah. But that's like 2 or 3 issues.
But even so, those are like throwaways. They're not like, what would a whole Clayface, like, regular, it's just like, what have we not used yet?
The
Clayface.
Daredevil Mark Waid approach was like, let's make this episodic again, and let's start bringing in some fun, wacky dudes.
Yeah.
And then we got...
look, man, more issues of Stiltman just make my days better.
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
Awesome.
But yeah, guys, Stiltman is not in Black Widow, but despite that, you should still be reading
Not yet, Mike.
Not yet. But you should definitely be checking it out. It's a really, really well-done series, and she's fantastic. And, not a character I've had a lot of investment in, but I really am enjoying the series.
Awesome. Well, that's a badass pull list. I want to check out Black Widow now. All right, well, that wraps up our pull list segment, and now we're moving on to the main segment. Mike, let's kick things off.
Archie and Friends, number 156, The Great Riverdale Comic-Con. So we're in the middle of convention season right now. Comic-Con was, I guess, a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
it was in July.
It was very recent.
Dragon Con just happened this past weekend. So I wanted to take this minute before we get into Halloween and all these other things, where we're going to have some more themed episodes.
Right.
Just to talk about that time that everyone in Archie went to Comic-Con.
Wait, they went to actual Comic-Con? Like San Diego Comic-Con?
No, they went to the Riverdale Comic-Con. And here's the other thing. It opens with them charging into the main hall, and they're all in costume. They have all cosplayed.
Now, what are they dressed as?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So, right now we've got Archie, Betty, Veronica. Mm-hmm. They're kind of, the main characters. For those who haven't listened to episode 4, where we got kind of heavy into Archie, Archie's the sort of classic bumbling teen. Mm-hmm. He's in love with 2 girls, Betty, the sweet blonde, and Veronica, the sassy brunette, or I guess raven-haired. Reggie is there. Reggie's kind of like a pretty boy jock. He's not the musclehead like Moose. Okay. He's just sort of like, he's very self-confident. He's cocky. He's an alpha male. Okay. Jughead, who just loves eating. He's got the crown.
Yes, that's right. We talked about that his main personality trait is he just likes to eat many things.
That's right. And Chuck, their friend, who's a comic book nerd. So Archie's dressed as a superhero. It's like orange and blue. He's got like a heart with a P in it. I don't know if it's meant to be a specific character. It's
never explained?
No, because at least not a lot of them are not explained because of copyright issues.
Oh, okay.
So Betty, it's a little off model, but she's a Na'vi from Avatar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's blue. Okay. And
I thought for a moment you were going to say she's green with, almost like the flip color reverse, but...
No, not quite. It's just got she's got actual clothing on. Okay. Which is good. Yeah. Veronica's dressed as Snow White.
Oh, okay. But again, they don't actually say
they don't have to. Right. You know what that is.
You know what the Snow White outfit looks like.
Reggie's Harry Potter.
Oh, great.
He's not wearing glasses, I don't think. He might be. But he's definitely Harry Potter.
Okay. Does he even have the scar on the head?
It's his hair. His hair makes a
that's
spit
pretty cool.
curl of the scar. So it's really unclear. Did he Superman it spit curl, or is it drawn on? You can't tell.
That's
and
awesome.
They kind of cheat it. They do refer to it as Potter at one point. They can't clarify beyond that.
Right.
Jughead, he's not Spock, because he will later describe who the character is, but it's Spock.
But it's their version of what Spock is.
And Chuck is Mace Windu from Phantom. Again, he's got the purple lightsaber. It's straight up. It's Mace Windu.
It's there's no dodging that at all. It's that's Mace Windu.
No, it's unapologetic.
That's awesome.
So they all charge in, and Archie, they all have their plans. What do they want? Archie wants to find a signed copy of the first comic he ever got, the Shield #2. And Reggie...
He's not the Shield?
No, I don't think so.
So everybody has their very relatable costume except for Archie. He's the one that's the wild card.
He might be a character from Mighty Crusaders. Okay. Because Mighty Crusaders is a comic they name drop. Reggie wants to get the whole collection and then sell it because he doesn't care about comics. He just wants to make bank. But Mighty Crusaders is an Archie comic, an Archie superhero comic they've had since off and on since the 60s. Okay. So there might be a character. No, it's not one that I recognize, but this is not my area.
So Reggie, the more confident kind of jockey guy, is literally there to make bank off of comic books?
Yeah. He's not
awesome.
He's not there because he is into comics. Half these people don't care about comics or comic book stuff. Like Veronica, I don't know why she's there. Like, I really don't.
It was just something
She's
to do.
there because I don't think she wants Betty and Archie to be alone together. But it's not even said. It's just like, yeah, we're all going to the mall, except we're not. We're going to the convention center, and we're all putting in a lot of effort into these elaborate costumes.
Yeah.
Jughead's really proud of his costume as Commander Spork from Space Trek. And he says, I'm driven by my Volcoid heritage and pure logic, except when I'm not, like in the episode Zamrock Crime. It's like he's a fanboy.
That's awesome.
But they realize one of their friends who's with them, they don't actually know who's under the costume. It's this Optimus Prime-esque costume named Maximus Chrome. From, the Changebots cartoon.
Changebots, so they went the... Okay, that's pretty great.
And he's got this incredible costume. It's so detailed. But they realize they don't know who it is. And they're too embarrassed to ask.
And they're just... and the person's just following them around like, hey, guys,
He's,
like,
well,
good
not
to see
like,
you
hey,
here.
guys. He's like trash-talking a lot. He'll be like, oh, yeah, you would do that. Like, to anyone, like, if Jughead's ever like, oh, I can't wait to hit the snack bar. Oh, I'd never eat food from here. Who is this guy again? Like, I really don't know.
Are you a friend of ours?
Like, they're speculating, like, is it Bingo? And Bingo is a character from a comic called That Wilkins Boy, which is another Archie comic. It's not one that I was familiar with until I really read this and had to go look it up. It's basically just like Archie, but there's no Veronica. It's just like
Just
a bumbling
Betty.
teen and like the girl he likes and stuff.
Okay.
That is, I'm sure, a gross oversimplification, but I don't know squat about Bingo.
Someone out there is
I don't know anything about
really
Bingo
pissed.
Wilkins. Sorry, guys. But they're like, maybe it's Bingo. And one of them's like, no. Bingo's over there. He's in the glittery vampire costume.
Nice.
Yeah. And he comes up and he's like, oh, hey, guys, you guys are going in for the costume contest? They're like, no, what costume contest? He's like, yeah, any fan-made costume you can submit. Any homemade costume. The prize is free dinner at the Garden Cafe for 2 and unlimited movie passes for life.
Wow, that is quite a deal.
It really is.
The first part, maybe not so much, but unlimited passes for life is pretty huge.
And then Archie's like, oh, yeah, I could finally take Ronnie out to a nice meal and movies all the time. And Veronica's like, oh, yeah, or Betty and I could go out for a girls' night out. And Betty's like, or I could take Archie out and have him all to myself. And Jughead's like, I could have snacks. Just free food forever.
That's awesome.
Maximus is like, yeah, I don't know if the costume's such a good idea. They're like, again, who is this guy? Who is under... It's not Bingo.
Who's glass half empty over here?
Exactly. Bingo tries to go get a signing from Dan Parent, who's an Archie comics writer and artist.
Awesome.
Who is actually... He created Kevin Keller, who's the character they introduced about a year later.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this in the previous episode.
The gay character who was, like, later on an army hero and stuff. Really cool character.
Very cool.
And they're maybe, who's Maximus Chrome? They don't know. Is it like Josie and the Pussycats?
Real quick, I feel like this could have been a missed opportunity, but if you've never been to a convention, you can go to artists and you can ask them to draw like things, or you can like pay them to draw things. It would have been really great to have Archie go up to the artist of Archie and be like, "Can you draw me in a picture?" I mean, I feel like that was a missed opportunity if they didn't take advantage.
Totally off
Just
model.
a completely different look.
Just like, oh, sorry, man.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I don't know.
Or he sketches as like just an Archie style. Oh my god, it's like a photograph.
It's so lifelike.
But yeah, they're wondering maybe it's like Josie or one of the Pussycats or Sabrina or someone who knows. And they see Josie and the Pussycats actually playing on stage, and they're all dressed like cat characters. So one of them's Black Cat, one of them's Catwoman.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great. And they come up and they're like, oh yeah, we were originally hired to play the tech conference next door. People complained, so we got moved to the comic convention. This isn't something that happens in San Diego, but it does happen at places like Heroes Con. Like there will be conventions next to comic
to
conventions.
that convention,
so like,
yeah.
I think Heroes Con at one point there was like a Republican convention like next door, which
let our powers combine.
Boy, do those guys not work well
Yeah,
together.
probably not.
Or there's like a dubstep convention sometimes next door, like or Hot Wheels. You never know
A Hot Wheels convention.
what it's going to be.
Why not?
And by Hot Wheels, I mean actually hot rods, like
Oh, okay,
cars
yeah.
that are nice. I don't know anything about cars, guys. I'm just going to put that right out there.
Man, that's an awfully nice Hot Wheel you got there. It's like
I notice you have 4 of them on your car.
That's quite impressive. I'm gonna go this way.
But they were apparently hired to play the tech conference next door,
Okay.
and then they got moved to the comic show because that's a
Now,
thing.
did they dress up for the tech conference in the
Did they
cosplay
bring the
outfits?
costumes?
Because that's pretty funny. Because
I don't-
it was just spur of the moment, right?
I guess.
Either that or they just happen to always have random costumes on them.
That would not surprise me.
That's awesome, though.
They mentioned, like, oh yeah, and we saw Dilton, your brainy friend, from the Archie gang, your brainy friend next door who knows a lot about robots. He was at the convention. They're like, well, I guess he's not Optimus Chrome or Maximus Chrome.
I was just going to say.
They're like, rats, okay.
The mystery of Maximus Chrome.
Exactly. They're like, well, it's not the Pussycats. Like, who is it? So the group sort of starts to split off. And they're all doing their own things. Reggie just wants to get his Potter hair accurate before the convention. Assumedly, that's what he does for the next hour and a half.
Dude, very specific Potter hair.
Archie's admiring comics he can't afford. Welcome to Comic-Con, Archie. Yeah. This is what it is.
Oh, how much is that? Oh, all of my savings. All right, well, great.
Betty and Veronica are looking at, like, toys, and Veronica's just, like, tossing them aside, and this guy's, like, catching them, like, no, R2-D2, off model. And they run into Cheryl Blossom, who's this, like, saucy redhead who shows up from time to time.
Okay.
She's also dressed as Snow White.
Oh.
Exactly the same
Shit's
costume.
about to go down.
Yeah, and Veronica takes it super personally. Meanwhile, apparently randomly, we just see a group of off-model stormtroopers carrying away Jughead, like, on their shoulders.
Oh, like a king almost?
No, like, somewhere, you can't tell if he's, like, a king or crowd surfing or literally being, like, run out of rail.
Like a battle has broken out between the Space Trek and I imagine the Space Wars people.
Yeah, we don't know. We will come back to that, but we don't know at this point.
Okay.
What that means. Like, we don't know what the context. He's, like, shouting something. Is it an elation? Is it like he's elated and like, yeah? Or is it like, no, bring me back to the food? We don't know.
Okay.
It's just, we'll come back to it.
So we're setting up our different threads.
Exactly. Cut to backstage at the costume contest. The gang notices this huge crowd in the auditorium, just in the audience. And Veronica asks, are there any celebrities out there I'd care about? And Archie's like, no, sorry, no one from the Jersey Shore out there. Why is she here?
Why did you come to this? Why did you spend time on making a costume?
Did they tell her it was a Halloween? Like, does she think it's October?
Pre-Halloween?
Is it October? I don't know.
What time of year is it? Maybe this is like the, what is it? The Christmas in July, but it's like Halloween in April?
I mean, conventions are all over the year now, so like, who knows? Maybe this is a Halloween-y, I don't know. But anyway, they notice the Jughead's not there, which is strange. He was so proud of his Spork costume. Cheryl also asks about Maximus Chrome, because this guy's been following around them all day. And she, like, knows their names. Like, he knows, like, he says, like, Blossom and, like, Andrews. Like,
And there's not sure if it's a guy or a girl?
I think they...
I mean, I know you can convey that through a comic.
Yeah, they seem to be going for guys, but just because, like, all of the supporting cast girl members are already there. Like,
okay.
It's like, we assume there's like a voice modulator. Okay. They don't say it, but that's my assumption.
I mean, is the text when he talks like he or she talks in like a boxy
really.
kind of?
It doesn't really do that. It's just like,
well,
who's this guy in the way that only comics can do?
Right.
And he's like calling them all by their last name, and Reggie's like, I wonder if this is Moose. He's like, oh, I wonder if Moose, this football playing jock, is like trying to catch me making time with Midge, and I'm like, Midge isn't here. What's going on? Did I miss something? So I don't...
Yeah, I mean, this is turning out to be quite the
It's
a
real mystery. And Maximus Chrome makes this reference to, like, Jughead, like, oh, maybe he's just off washing dishes for eating more than he could afford. And Chuck's like, I don't think people do that anymore. And Maximus is like, I wouldn't know. I've never not paid my bills. Like, all right.
Jeez.
This guy's really, like, negative.
Really bringing it down.
He is. And then you call him like a buzzkill, basically. And Reggie's getting really frustrated. Like, who is this guy? He's like almost straight up asking. But no one's asking.
But no one wants to ask.
Cheryl wants to take Veronica out of the running because they're both dressed as Snow White.
Right.
So she puts itching powder and face cream, and she offers it to Betty. And immediately Veronica snatches it away. She's like, oh no, if anyone deserves this, Betty, I know what she's doing.
Well played.
She's trying to give you the edge, Betty, so she'll knock me out of competition, so it'll just be the two of you, and she'll beat you, because of course she will. Sorry, Betty.
Poor Veronica.
No, I gotta put this on. And she breaks out in hives. And she goes out on stage with these huge itchy hives.
Oh.
By the way, one of the celebrity judges is J.J. Abrams.
And it's not like
J.J. Abrams or something.
KK
Definitely wouldn't be that.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be.
No, it's J.J.
It's
Abrams.
just J.J. Abrams.
Apparently they're with the cast of his film Man vs. Robots. I'd watch a J.J. Abrams movie called Man vs.
Robot. We probably all would.
It's on the tin.
Yeah.
Who's going to win, man or robot?
I mean, I want to know.
I feel like that's the premise of every sci-fi movie.
Yeah, most of the time.
It's man versus robots.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maximus Chrome seems to have... He's like, no, Veronica didn't just suddenly break out. Something's going on here. But also he just trips Archie on his way out to the stage. Like,
Who? The
Maximus Chrome just trips Archie when he's going out on stage, so Archie just tumbles into the judges' table. And then Maximus just pushes his way on stage and just stands there and wins.
Lights up and
pretty much holds out his arms, and everyone's like, it's amazing.
Does his chest open and the song You've Got the Touch start playing and he just pulls out the Allspark? No?
In my mind.
I mean, I wish it happened.
But then the doors burst open and the stormtroopers emerge, but they come out and they're holding Jughead on this weird flat feather bed. And Sabrina the Teenage Witch is leading the way in a slave Leia costume, which in and of itself is amazing.
Wow.
And Jughead's like, that guy should be disqualified. This is a homemade costume contest, and that's not a homemade costume. And he splashes his soda on Maximus Chrome, who short circuits because he's a robot.
What?
And as he's dying, he's short circuiting. He's like, zzz, zzz, and he says, "Why was I programmed to feel pain?" Which is amazing.
Why did you make me?
And Sabrina, we find it, is the head of Riverdale's Stormtrooper battalion, which is like, it's like the 501st. The 501st Legion is the fan group of Star Wars fans who like really into cosplay. This is basically that.
That's awesome. And she's the leader of it.
Of the Riverdale troop, yeah.
That's pretty great.
And she realizes it's not a costume, it's the latest Virtue Change bot on display at the technical conference. She recognized it because they were supposed to march there. But
so a rogue robot from the technical conference busted in?
She recognizes it because 501st, the Stormtrooper Battalion, was supposed to march there, but were asked to leave. I get the Josie and the Pussycats thing, kind of. Why were the Stormtroopers marching anywhere but...
Yeah, why were they asked to be at the technical conference?
That's for the purposes of seeing the robot and recognizing it later on.
Oh, jeez.
But they're trying to figure out, like, well, what happened? And Betty's like, well, this is a toy. It's remote controlled. I don't know how she comes to that conclusion, but she's right. She's like, it's this complex, so it couldn't have much range, which I don't know if that's true because, like, drones? But whatever. The point is, she tracks it down into this broom closet, pulls open the door, and it's Veronica's dad, Mr. Lodge, remote controlling the robots.
That's pretty awesome.
And he wanted to make sure it's basically like Scooby-Doo. Mr.
I was just
Lodge!
about to say, like, this is a Scooby-Doo adventure for Archie.
Exactly.
And I would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for this meddling kids and this Jughead.
Basically wanted to make sure that Archie didn't win the costume contest and take Veronica out on unlimited movie dates. He brought the robot over.
So this plan was the ultimate cockblock via Maximus Chrome?
That you've just described almost every Archie comic where Mr. Lodge appears.
Oh, really?
Just cock-blocking Archie.
Oh, boy.
But he brought the robot over from the Lodge Industries exhibit at the tech conference next door. Because, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And Veronica starts to scold her dad. You ruined the costume contest. Look at all these hives I've got now because of you. Kind of, not really,
not
but whatever.
Really, but...
And J.J. Abrams is so impressed with the robots, he buys a fleet of them for his next movie. He says, I would like to buy a fleet of them.
A fleet of your robots.
He says, name your price.
Wow.
And then Archie says, well
hey,
then,
great for the technical conference.
Right.
Congrats.
Right. And he says, well, who won the costume contest? And JJ shrugs, and he's like, everyone. Free movies and meals for free. On me. Forever.
What? J.J. Abrams, a Willy Wonka-esque billionaire in the Archie universe.
I mean, this is also pre-Star Wars. He hadn't been announced as the director yet. It's about 6 months early from when he gets announced as the director.
Wow.
So I know now he's got carte blanche, and he kind of did then.
Yeah.
He doesn't just, he's not like Keanu Reeves or Bill Murray, where it's just, random acts of kindness.
Why not?
He could be. But,
if it was like Steven Spielberg, it would just be like, yeah, maybe. I'm sure he has, magic movie strings he can pull, but...
But everyone poses for the picture with the off-model stormtroopers and J.J. Abrams, and Veronica says, isn't this great, Daddy? Now Archie and I can see each other each and every night. And he's like, yes, dear. Just wonderful, dear. And J.J. Abrams puts his arm around Sabrina the Teenage Witch in a slave Leia picture, which is kind of unsettling.
Yeah,
except,
that is a little odd.
Although, to be fair, that character's been around 4 years longer than the actual J.J. Abrams has.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to be fair, he was born in 66. She was created in 64 or 62, whatever it is. Whatever the math is, it's 4 years apart. So, and also It doesn't look that much like J.J. Abrams.
It's like the guys at the end of the day, like, who should we call this guy again? Don't we need to give him a name? I don't know. J.J. Abrams?
No, you can tell they're going for J.J. Abrams. He's got, like, doesn't
the
lend
thick
himself.
black mustache.
He doesn't lend
mustache.
What?
Sorry. The thick black.
Are you confused?
I even pantomimed glasses, and I still said mustache.
Did you confuse him with Groucho Marx again?
I was thinking the debonair J.J. Abrams with the lush mustache, Mike. But that's awesome.
Did I say Alex Segura and Bill Galvan?
I don't think so, but you should say it now.
Alex Segura wrote it and Bill Galvan drew it.
Excellent.
That wasn't awkward at all.
That wasn't awkward at all.
Not weirdly shoehorned in. Comic books.
Awesome. Well, that was a great main segment. So now that brings us to our game segment for the episode, which is Who Am I? All right, this is our game segment, Who Am I? This is where basically I hold in my mind a hero or villain of Marvel or DC, and through a series of 20 questions, Mike has to guess who that person is.
That's right, and unlike 20 questions, there's way too many options, so I have a couple of lifelines.
A couple lifelines where either can request an event or can request maybe a line they might have said.
The funny thing, I was thinking about this. In normal 20 questions, the first question is animal, minimal, or vegetable, right?
Yeah.
You think that's so broad,
Mm-hmm.
and yet we need to specify, because comics... I didn't mean to name it. Because comics are...
just cut the episode cuts right now.
But no, because comics are just super complicated, and we kind of need lifelines sometimes.
It could be. I mean, my pull list was talking about a plant that rules all of the green of the world. So, I mean, you never know.
That's true.
That would have been a complicated one if it was Swamp Thing.
That would have been really tough.
Yeah, that probably would have been.
Particularly tough when you get into the animal, vegetable, vegetable question.
That's exactly. Is it a man? Well, the plant, person.
Animal, minimal, or vegetable? 2 out of 3.
Figure it out from there. Good luck, Mike.
What?
All right. Well, let's see. What is your first question, Mike?
Marvel or DC?
It is Marvel.
Yay! I do better with these. It's Marvel. Hero, villain, or anti-hero?
Hero.
Male, female, or neither?
Female.
Alrighty. Cool. That already, sadly narrows it down a lot.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We're still early.
Mutant or non?
Non-mutant.
Okay. Also, kind of takes a lot of female superheroes out of the running. But it's Marvel, so I'm doing better. Powers? Question mark?
Yes, powers.
Exclamation point powers.
Exclamation point.
Secret identity?
No secret identity.
Okay. Legacy, I guess legacy's not really the same in Marvel as it is in DC. Is she kind of like grandfathered into an existing identity? For example, Ms. Marvel connected to Captain Marvel, She-Hulk to Hulk, etc. Does she have some kind of connection?
Yes, there is a connection to a previous iteration.
Okay. I would ask when they showed up, but I think I'm actually just going to let's go Lifeline.
Lifeline, okay. Are you looking for an event or something they might have said?
Let's do a quote. Quotes are always a little more challenging. I like starting off with a quote.
Okay. So our quote is going to be, Loki, you know I don't trust you, and you know why.
Sif.
No.
Damn it! Oh, that would have been so baller.
That would have been great if you just out of nowhere.
Does that count as one of my questions?
It does count as one of your questions.
But there was no question mark.
Sif
I was
question
so
mark.
excited.
Just exclamation point. You can't do that.
Fine. Okay, so it's not Sif.
It is not Sif.
So it's someone else who's interacted with Loki. Okay.
You know, that very rare villain that no one interacts with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I definitely could have given you an easier quote, but I felt like giving you a tougher one.
I said it would be a challenge.
Yeah, so I delivered.
That's what you did to do.
Here's the thing, someone might know right now, Mike.
Okay, has she been a member of the Avengers?
Has she been a member of the Avengers?
Of an Avengers team, I guess is something I need to qualify with you.
Has she been a member of an Avengers team?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but he thought about it.
I did.
He thought about it.
I don't want to lead you down the wrong path. She has been the member of a Avengers-esque team.
Okay. Has she shown up in a feature film?
No.
Okay. Has she, to your knowledge, shown up in a cartoon?
No. I really don't think so.
Okay. How many questions am I on?
You're at 12 questions.
Oh, I got so cocky.
You're like, Marvel, I got this.
I got this with Marvel.
Female Marvel.
Female Marvel heroes.
Such
It's
a
not like
small,
there's a bunch
such
of
a
them.
small range.
Good for you, Marvel.
Yeah.
This is a challenge.
Yeah, it is.
Is she... This isn't going to help a lot. But is she a member of any other minority groups? Either religious, ethnic, or sexual?
Yes, she is.
Is she / has she been married?
No.
Has she ever had a magic pregnancy?
No, she's never, to my knowledge, ever had a magic pregnancy.
Does that mean...
No. She has not had a magic pregnancy.
Does that mean that I can safely rule out Carol Danvers and Tigra?
I will let you rule them out and not count that as a question.
Okay.
So you're at 15.
That's a clarification. Okay.
Ooh, getting close.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
Other lifeline.
You want to use an event?
Yeah.
Okay. So, her entire world where she grew up in was created in an alternate dimension by a young Avenger.
Okay. This is a lot more recent than I expected. Is this Miss America? Is this Miss America Chavez?
Yes!
Wow! I wondered if it might be with the Loki quote, but I decided...
It is America Chavez, also known as Miss America.
Bravo! Right on. Okay, cool.
I will accept your compliment, thank you.
Miss America Chavez is
By
great.
the way, I love Miss America, and if
she's fantastic.
and maybe do it in a throwback pull list because it's done now. But if you haven't checked out the run of, I think it's Kieran
Gillen's Young Avengers
run,
fantastic,
so good.
Oh my god,
and
so good.
I mean, one of their ship is powered by what, Kirby engines or Kirby imagination?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember exactly the quote,
but guys,
it's powered by like optimism.
Yeah,
it's
powered by like optimism or imagination. It's so great and amazing art. And Miss America, who I didn't know, she had some cooler previous runs.
One, I think she showed up in Vengeance.
Vengeance was like her where she appeared on the page.
I don't think that many people read. Yeah,
no, it's very recent. And, I mean, she's awesome. She's a great character. She literally punches into other dimensions, which I love.
Yeah, that's baller.
Yes. Like, how do we get to this other dimension? Oh, I'll just punch into it.
Yeah, it's the Superboy Prime approach.
Please check out Young Avengers, and that is our answer for Who Am I is America Chavez. That's right, that is her first name, America. Yeah. And it's Miss America. All right, so that was episode 10 of Because Comics. We'll be posting a new episode every other week. If you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts. And on that note, we just kicked off a new podcast called Blockbuster Punch Up, which is really kind of I wouldn't say in spirit sister podcast to this podcast, but we are every other week, and so is Blockbuster Punch Up.
I would say though it's a sister podcast.
Yeah, so
you and he, like you guys tackle movies in similar ways that we do. You do the main segment, only it's much more critical and reconstructy.
Right.
Yeah.
Blockbuster Punch Up is all about taking recent fun blockbusters from this year, previous years, and basically breaking them down. And most importantly, we kind of build them back up with almost retellings of the blockbusters. There's ways we would have liked to see them go. And it's really kind of fun and almost storytelling in its own way. So if you like films and blockbusters, definitely check it out. We're on every other week between Because Comics to fill your time.
Yeah.
So
for those weeks when we just can't fill the void.
Can't fill the void in your heart.
You can still get Jay.
On another podcast.
Exactly.
And again, if you want to fill that void with Mike, you can, in your spare time, please check him out at supergeekmike.com or follow him on Twitter. And again, guys, you can follow us on Twitter at because_comics or email us at becausecomics@gmail.com. We've gotten some great emails in the past from maybe some of your thoughts on Super Mundanes or we've had before or whatever you guys think of the show. We'd love to hear back from you guys.
We'd love to hear thoughts on what you guys think of the show.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And remember,
nobody tosses a dwarf.
They don't?
No, nobody tosses a dwarf.
Not everyone. No one does a fastball dwarf special?
Unfortunately.
Wait, I believe a Legolas once tossed a dwarf.
No, an Aragorn once tossed a dwarf, and we never speak of this again.
Because comics.